My part on this is simply to expand a little on what Alan St. Pierre mentioned in his opening comments. The last time until this year that Congress considered a marijuana decriminalization bill, I'm sorry to say, was in 1978. I was shocked myself to go back. I had remembered in my own mind, maybe we had bills introduced in the early 80s, but no, the last decriminalization bill that was ever introduced in Congress was in 78. It was Jacob Javits and Phil Hart, major members of Congress back then. But the mood of the country turned conservative after that. There was no doubt about it. Just looking at our own failure to win victories. We won 11 states. We decriminalized marijuana in 11 states between 1973 and 1977. And we didn't win another victory until California legalized medical use in 1996. So you think about that, that was an incredibly long, dry spell. Well, during that time, members of Congress got the message, and they were not about to sign on to any decriminalization bill. When the issue resurfaced, and basically, as I say, coming out of California in 96, Congress once again began to look at marijuana, but it was all medical use. Nobody was willing to talk about the broader issue. What about those of us who smoke but who don't use it as a medicine? Clearly, 90%, probably 97% of the 26 million Americans who smoked marijuana in the last year did not smoke it for medical reasons. They smoked it because they enjoy smoking. And so the ultimate goal that NORML has always had, of course we favor legalizing marijuana as a medicine, and we all agree that patients should be at the front of the line. Seriously ill patients, obviously, their need is greater than the rest of us. But the real answer to this problem is to stop arresting marijuana smokers, period, and it is none of the government's damn business why we're smoking. We may be smoking for medical reasons, we may be smoking because we think it's a sacrament, we use it religiously, or we may just like to get high, like you. So, I was delighted in the last couple of years to open up a discussion. This guy's I've had over the years with Representative Barney Frank. He's always been a friend of ours and a supporter. I knew him back when he was a state legislator in Massachusetts, and he co-sponsored the decrim bill there as well. So Barney recognized that even though he'd been leading the charge on medical use, it was time now for us to move forward. I think Alan mentioned those data, but we got surveys showing 76% of the country say they support a fine only for marijuana smoking, and that's not medical, because overall, no arrest and no jail. So if 3 out of 4 Americans think prohibition should go away and we should stop treating smokers like criminals, for Christ's sake, it's time for the politicians to begin to talk about that again. So to Barney's credit, after some time, we met. I brought in Eric Houston from MPP and Bill Piper from DPA. And we met with Barney, and I'll be honest with you, what he first suggested was he thought the feds had no role to play at all in minor offenses. And when we began to talk about what should we define as minor offenses, Barney suggested anything less than 10 pounds. which I thought was a great idea. But I'll be honest, even as those of us who are advocates began to discuss the reality of having to go to other members of Congress and say, would you like to co-sponsor a bill to decriminalize 10 pounds? We thought that probably wasn't very practical. So we got Barney to agree to take the best state provision. You know, Ohio allows is decriminalize 3.5 ounces. And it's the largest of any quantity that any state has allowed so far. So we thought we'll go with that. And the Marijuana Commission back in 1972 not only recognized that we stop arresting smokers, they also recommended that there be no penalty at all for the not-for-profit transfer of small amounts between friends. They knew exactly what happens. We buy marijuana, we share it with our friends. That should be legal. So, Barney, to his credit, in H.R. 5843, would eliminate all federal penalties, no fines, no nothing, for possession of up to 3.5 ounces and for the not-for-profit transfer of up to 1 ounce between adults. So I think it's a good model bill for us to now get serious about, and as Alan said, it should be the centerpiece of most of our efforts over the next few years in Congress. So I think it is a new day. When the new Congress comes back, assuming we have a sympathetic administration, and we expect we will, I think we will get hearings before the Judiciary Committee and probably one other committee. We'll be bringing in witnesses. Hopefully, I think we can get the votes to maybe get that out of committee. So it's not hopeless. We've got a lot of work to do, but we finally have a vehicle there to work on and to move forward. And most importantly, again, so that we don't just talk about medical use, that we talk about stop arresting marijuana smokers, period, regardless of why they're smoking. With that, I'm going to get my computer up here because I think the next presenter is going to use PowerPoint. It's everyone important. The next speaker is Rob Campia. All of you know Rob. He is a co-founder of the Marijuana Policy Project. He's going to be speaking to us today briefly about the two state initiatives that are coming up, one in Michigan on medical use and one in Massachusetts on total decriminalization. Rob?